What's going on, everybody? I'm Glenn Stout. This is NCRA Sports Network. This is week 1 of the high school playoffs. We're at the Coral Springs Brews Room. We got a great show for you guys tonight. Make sure you stay tuned. We are NCRA Sports Network.
You're watching the NCRA Sports Network, the #1 sports network in the nation, covering high school sports. NCRA Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Glenn Stout. This is Damien Hunt, Coach DC, and we are NCRA Sports Network. This is the week 1 of high school playoffs. The regular season's done. Throw away the record books. Now we're going to play some real football, Coach.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to have a good time. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of teams that we haven't got an opportunity to cover. Dade County, Palm Beach County, Broward County. Should be a good time. What do you think, DC?
I'm just loving it, Coach. It's a great opportunity to see these young men go out and do their thing.
Absolutely.
You know, it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. And all these kids, they've been hyping it up all year. They've been playing week in and week out, working hard off of the last summer, getting into the regular season. Some teams, they made it a breeze to the playoffs. Other teams, they might have backed their way in. But now record books are out the window. It don't matter what you had during the regular season. Now it's mano-a-mano.
Exactly, Coach. It's put up or shut up, you know. That's what it comes down to. Win or go home. It's up to you what you do that night. It's not the best team throughout the season because the season don't count. Everybody's 0-0 right now. It's win or go home. Nobody wants to go home.
And not to mention, you have to take in consideration, this may be the very last time a lot of these seniors can ever even touch a football again.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's going to be a lot of emotions. You know, whoever the losing team, you're going to have some people crying on the opposite side because this is it.
Yeah.
You know, we hope that everybody out there, you know, plan on playing collegiate ball or go to the next level, but the chances are not everybody will. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be emotional, and we're going to see exactly what's going to happen this upcoming weekend. It should be thrills and fun.
I absolutely agree with you, Damien, and I hope you guys are enjoying the show. We're going to have a great show for you guys tonight. We are at the Coral Springs Brews Room live. We got a lot of people here coming to watch the Heat game a little bit later, so it's going to be a good show. We hope you guys stay tuned. We covered a game last week, one of the last regular season games of the season, Cypress Bay versus Boyd Anderson. Boyd Anderson had a playoff spot locked up, so does Cypress Bay, and they came out to play a good game. Final score 31-15 Cypress Bay, and you guys obviously saw the game. And Cypress Bay, they came out on top. They definitely looked more polished of the two teams, I would say. What do you think, Coach DC?
Coach, they were polished. They were the most well-disciplined team I've seen in years. Their character was good. They followed instructions well. I watched even on punt teams when you punt the ball and you go down the court, and here we are on a punt team. Every kid stands around the ball, not Cypress Bay. They ran down, saw they were not going to field the punt. Everyone bailed, went to the sideline.
What about you, Coach Damien?
I mean, one thing that you can't take away from all the great work that Boyd Anderson has done, but one thing I got to agree with Coach DC, being an Army vet. One of the things I noticed is that Cypress Bay, from beginning to end, discipline. I'm talking about even at the end of the game. I mean, they lined up. In single file lines, straight up and down, and they didn't move until their coach told them to move. So what Coach Guandolo, the tradition and everything that he's been doing over there is phenomenal. And I look forward to seeing what they're going to do against my alma mater of Deerfield Beach High School. It should be absolutely stunning.
And what have we been saying all season about Boyd Anderson? They were starting games slow, and against a polished team like that, you can't start off slow, and you can't make mistakes. So as you can see, we all got to see the game. So now we want to show you guys a little bit of the game. This is Cypress Bay versus Boyd Anderson. Check it out. Heading out there for the coin toss. We got you, Coach Damien, and you, Coach DC, on the play-by-play, and it was a good game.
It was an excellent game, Coach. Number 21, you can see him out there with the captain, Mr. Days, special athlete, Coach.
Nice size, nice speed between him and Montgomery, number 10, the receiver slash DB. I'm sorry, Montgomery. They were all over the field. Coach Guandolo, they did a great job in making sure that they pretty much try to put a hat on every person from the offensive line, the defensive line, and they did a good job in trying to control the speed of Boyd Anderson. And Boyd Anderson undersized, and it showed in this game.
And I believe this was a home game for Boyd Anderson, correct, DC?
Yes, at Boyd Anderson, it was definitely a home game. And I believe it was senior night. And let's not forget that Boyd Anderson has a special athlete on their team, a few of them. But number 3 is definitely special.
Here we see that this is the play that actually started the touchdown. This was Hankerson to Lopez. Often, I mean, they ran this play legitimately 3 straight times, and 2 out of the 3 times that connected. The 3rd time was a pass interference. And I mean, Hankerson did a good job. And here you go. This is the touchdown, right over the shoulder.
Wow.
Right in the end zone. I mean, they had that type of night. And Lopez, being a great athlete, did a good job in sinking in his hips and getting around his DB.
Those seemed like those were just straight verticals, Coach.
That's all it was, a little hesitation move to get off the line, and up the field it was.
All right, here's Cypress Bay with the ball. Attack in the middle of the field, Coach DC?
Yes, this tight end, a tight end is not used enough in today's football, especially at the high school level. Everyone wants to run the spread offense. But when you have a tight end that can make plays across the middle, you got something special, Coach. And this kid did an excellent job all night.
Absolutely. Here we go. We'll see the power of the running game and Mr. And actually this was the bootleg, because they ran Days so often that they actually thought that he was going to actually get the ball as many times as he did. And actually, I'm sorry, this is the end of the round to Montgomery, number 10.
It seems that they set up that end around a lot. They use that motion man a lot.
They were killing that jet sweep motion often all night.
Coach, they ran a jet sweep motion out of the eye and out of the gun, making it look like a zone, but it was actually a jet. And there goes Mr. Days.
Ooh, that's some wheels right there. That's some speed.
And if you notice, that was a great block by number 10, Montgomery, downfield. And that was something that I noticed a lot of, is that their receivers were going down the field, blocking often.
You see Jackson chase him down almost 80 yards down the field.
Yeah, Coach, that's just no quit at all.
And that's exactly what you want. That's character out of Mr. Action Jackson there.
Right, that's what you need going into the playoffs.
Yeah, Boyd Anderson's going to have to answer the call. I mean, a lot of people are expecting big things out of them. They really changed their season around, so they can't show up and play a game like this and expect to get far in the playoffs.
It's not exactly the way that you want to end your regular season, but if you're gonna lose, you're gonna why not lose to someone like this? And this was, I think, the interception by, I believe this was Mr. Jackson, and
I think that was Bruno, Coach.
I'm sorry, my apologies. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, it was an ill-advised throw by the quarterback.
That was awful.
Late.
He threw it off his back foot almost.
And up in the air. You don't want to jump ball.
My goodness.
With the actual athletes of Boyd Anderson.
Well, it looks like they corrected it, Coach, and he didn't make that mistake again.
Yeah, they didn't.
Quarterback keeper up the middle, just straight power versus power, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, the quarterback did a great job. He managed the game very well.
Yeah, they put hat on the hat there, Coach.
Cypress Bay is more of a traditional power football team with a little bit of spread. Out of Boyd Anderson plays mostly spread football, try to get outside the tackles.
And here goes the block kick that was actually open the entire night.
Well, Coach, they actually didn't block the kick.
Well, yeah, the kicker sort of kicked it into the man. But the truth of the matter is, whoever is going to be watching this game for the opponents of Boyd Anderson, they're going to notice that they do that rugby-style kick and to load up that left side.
24/7, Cypress Bay, they definitely had command of the game early on.
And I believe that Mr. Days possibly had well over 200 and almost 300 yards all-purpose that night.
Coach DC, that seemed like that was just the soft cover 2, and they just ran a post route right in the middle of the 2 safeties.
Right, Coach. They were playing very soft back there. For some reason or another, I don't know what it was, but I thought maybe they'd come up and play a little tighter. There's a screen play, and Mr. Days in for another touchdown.
He's a very smart runner. That's one thing that you couldn't take away from what Cypress Bay was doing. They had a very, very smart football team.
31-7, as we said, command of this game almost through the whole game.
Absolutely.
As you see here, G4, they got in that pistol formation, and this quarterback is just special.
Wow.
You can't coach. I mean, that's something that you don't coach. I mean, you can try your best to coach, but it's does your quarterback have that natural ability to do it or not?
Damien, I think that was 2 feet down too. That was an NFL catch. He didn't even have to put 1 foot down.
Absolutely. That's what you want. That's what you want out of the athletes right here.
2-point conversion, I believe.
Yes,
and
sir.
he did get it in.
He actually got that hand out and got that ball over the pylon, coach. And that's what you teach your athlete to do. Get that extra yard without getting it.
31-15. And that was the ball game.
That was the ball game. I mean, again, you know, we all know that Boyd Anderson, and rightfully so, even Coach Blair, the head coach of Boyd Anderson, has said themselves is that they're a slow starting team. But there's no room to have slow starters in the playoffs. You're going to have to start a little bit faster. Cypress Bay started fast, ended fast, a great disciplined team. And it's exactly what they need to do against a very fast team in Deerfield Beach High School with, you know, Mr. Powell and A-Train over there, Thomas. We'll see exactly how that works out.
As you can see, that was the final score of that game, 31-15, Cypress Bay over BA. That was one of the last games of the regular season for high school football. And now we're all obviously getting into the playoffs. And these teams are ready to go. And what would you say, DC, out of Cypress Bay and BA, which team do you think is more prepared for the playoffs?
Well, I wouldn't say either is better prepared. It's the difference in division. 8A is a lot weaker than 7A. 7A is where Boyd Anderson is. 8A is where Cypress Bay is. And Cypress Bay is not as challenging as 7A. 7A and 6A, they're loaded. 8A, Cypress Bay, I see them getting out of here.
Okay.
Wow. That's big. That's huge.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed that clip. And again, we are NCRA Sports. We are live at the Coral Springs Brews Room. Got a nice crowd here tonight. We hope you guys are enjoying the show at home, watching on NCRASportsNetwork.com, the live feed, checking us through Facebook or on Twitter. If you need to get in contact with any of us, you can go to NCRASportsNetwork.com, G4 at NCRASportsNetwork.com, or find us on Twitter at NCRA Sports. And we just hope you guys are enjoying the show. We're really pumped. We're ready for the playoffs. And we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to start breaking down some of these playoff games and let you know who we think is going to make it to the second round of the playoffs.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned.
Come on down to Brews Room. Great taste is just the beginning. First thing that you'll notice, this is your kind of place. When you sit back and relax, you're gonna love the taste. Good times don't go to waste. You found the right place. Come on down to Brews Room. Great taste is just the beginning.
NCRA Sports Network is brought to you by Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation. The KDA Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit youth organization that specializes in empowering communities and providing opportunities for academic and athletic growth. At KDA, we address vital issues concerning transitional phases of primary and secondary education. Through sports and academic advisory camps, health and wellness programs, and athletic scholarship, grant and aid assistance programs for college. Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation and NCRA Sports Network.
Over 1,800 colleges and universities in the nation. There are over 10 million high school student athletes that graduate each year. Only 0.08% of these student athletes that graduate receive full scholarships.
We're here, we got your back.
And you can go back and get your college degree and come back and help us, man.
It all started with a dream. And now it's up to us to keep it alive.
If you're sitting out there and you're wondering, you have to start that process.
Education comes first. You never know what the future holds.
Gave me a better opportunity to make it in life. Live your dreams.
How far are you willing to go?
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Glenn Stout. This is Damien Hunt and Coach DC. We are NCRA Sports Network coming live from the Coral Springs Brews Room. We are covering week 1 of the playoffs, high school playoffs. High school football regular season's over and done with. The record books are out. We can't emphasize that enough. These teams are hungry. They're ready to win a state championship, and we're ready to cover some real good football in the fall.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
We just showed you guys a clip from the Cypress Bay Boyd Anderson game, and that was a 31-15 win regular season, but we're done with the regular season talk. We're going to start talking some playoffs. Just so you guys know, the game that we will be covering for the first round of the playoffs will be Archbishop McCarthy versus Miami Central at Traz Powell Field. We are expecting that to be a great game. That is Friday night. And we're going to break down some brackets and talk a little bit about playoff games and who the coaches here think who's going to win or lose. We might not agree on all of them, but that's okay because that's what football is all about.
Absolutely.
It's a pride thing, so we obviously always think we're going to be the right one, but that's okay. That's what it's all about. So Archbishop McCarthy 7-3, Miami Central 7-2 on the regular season, and what can we say? Archbishop McCarthy, they might not be on the same level as Miami Central. Some people will say you can't count anybody out. This is the playoffs. I personally think it's going to be a great game for Central for a warm-up game, and no offense to Archbishop Central or Archbishop McCarthy, but I'm just going to go with that, and that's my opinion. I think Miami Central is going to blow them out of the water.
Well, I actually did see the game Cardinal Gibbons versus Archbishop McCarthy, and Archbishop couldn't take on anything that Cardinal Gibbons was doing. So I'm looking for Central to win big. I don't know that much about Archbishop McCarthy, but I do know that they're not the talent that they used to have. So I mean, hey, call it disrespectful, but Central is a completely different beast, and we've seen that down south. They just breed them differently down there. So I'm looking for Central to beat them if they maybe get 10 points.
Coach DC, you're out of Dade.
Coach,
we know
I'm
that.
Just going. I'll give you.
Cook and Yarby. All we got to say
here, Coach. 305. After that, Coach, that's it. We don't need to talk any further than that. 305.
That might be the score.
305-0. Is that what we're saying? All right, we don't want to sell anybody out. We think Archbishop, they're definitely going to show up. They're not going to quit. They're going to come out and they're going to play. But Dade County they got Cook and Yarby. Those are two playmakers on the field that we expect them to do big things, and we expect Miami Central to win that. What's some of the things you can tell us about Cook and Yarby, Coach?
Coach, they're just special. They're Archbishop. Unfortunately, they're in 6A with Central, and last year. Pines Charter went down to play Miami Central in the first round. They lost 71-0. It was 50-0 at halftime, Coach. Central, they had a little respect. They called the dogs off. They had the third team in scoring touchdowns, and they just couldn't stop them.
Absolutely.
So
definitely
that's why they play the game.
Definitely, that's why they play the games. We fully expect both of these teams to come out and play their best, give it all for 4 quarters. And as you can see, first game of the night. That's a 3-away, all yes for Miami Central.
Absolutely.
So we're going to move it down to one of the other games. This is 8A quarterfinal. Miramar 6-4 at South Plantation 9-1. This one might be a little mixed up. We might have some different opinions. These two teams are obviously great. Miramar's definitely on the map as a powerhouse team in the state of Florida and in the country. I'm going with South Plantation. I think Collins is going to have a great game. Decommitted from the University of Miami, obviously.
We knew it was going to happen.
Open for options to go play, but with that running attack, and that team that we saw play against Monarch, I'm going with South Plantation. So, what about you, Coach Damien?
This is a toss-up because, in covering the Miramar Boyd Anderson game, I saw a Miramar team that I thought was a little bit more powerful than what they were. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Miramar. I think Miramar is a perennial powerhouse. They have a very strong schedule, a lot stronger than what South Plantation's schedule was, and it also had a problem with a young Deerfield team that just found themselves. So when you go against a Miramar who has tradition, I got to go with Miramar.
How about you, Coach DC?
Coach, South Plantation's played well all year. Miramar's had been up and down. I'm going to take Miramar because
they're due.
Yeah, they're due, but I'm a creature of habit. And when I say creature of habit, I like to take the hot team. not the team that's won. Right now, Miramar is the hot team. So I'm taking the hot team versus South Plantation, who is a very good and a fine coach football team. So give me Miramar.
Not a problem at all. There we go. We got our first one of the night. We got somebody going against the grain and picking a different team, but that's what they go to play the game for, and that should be a great game. Make sure you guys check that one out.
Absolutely.
We're going to go with Dwyer, 8-2, at Northeast, 9-1.
Wow.
Now, Northeast, they stumbled early on. Did they lose to Miramar, I believe? Was it Miramar that they lost to?
Northeast lost to Hollandale.
Northeast lost to Hollandale early on.
Right.
Okay. And Dwyer, 8-2, obviously. Both these teams are really good. I'm going to go with the team that I've been following more, Northeast High School. I don't know enough about Dwyer. I know Dwyer's got a great defense, great offense, and Dwyer did get beat by Heritage, so we expect I expect Northeast to come out on top of that one, Coach Damien.
This is a very tough one for me because I was actually at the Monarch game, and I actually thought that Northeast should have did a better job in actually ripping through Monarch. And granted, I do believe that they didn't want to show all their cards. I got to go with Dwyer. I'm sorry, Coach Bennett, but I have to go with Dwyer, mainly because Dwyer plays a lot of tough teams. And I'm looking for them to do some big things. And Northeast just starts off a little too slow for me.
What about you, Coach DC?
Coach, I'm on the fence here, but I got to get off. I got to get off the fence. So I'm going to get off the fence, and I'm going to jump into that hurricane storm.
There we go.
I can't go against Stacy Coley in that group. So I'm going to play Homer. I'm taking Northeast in overtime.
Okay. Well, that's a great prediction.
Yeah, man,
we're going to bring it down to the game. This one's got a little meaning to it for Coach Damien.
Yes.
Deerfield Beach, 6-4 versus Cypress Bay, 8-2. Brandon Powell against that Cypress Bay defense. What do you think, Coach?
Coach, it's going to be tough for me to actually go with this one because I saw what happened with St. Thomas, and they had a lot of issues with their seniors. But I'm going with Buck Pride all day, every day. You got two heads better than one. You got 1 days at Cypress Bay, but you have two freaks, and Powell and A-Train over there at Deerfield Beach High School, and I'm looking at them to win by 2 points. So I'm looking at maybe 35-33 Deerfield over Cypress Bay.
Coach DC, what do we got?
Coach, I totally disagree. The buck stops here. Cypress Bay all the way.
I'm going to have to go with Coach DC on that one. After watching Cypress Bay's performance against Boyd Anderson, they just looked polished. Nothing against Deerfield Beach. I think they got a lot of talent, a lot of speed, but we all know defense and discipline wins games, and Deerfield Beach. And Damien, you're throwing numbers out there. You're throwing scores out there.
I am. I'm gonna throw a score out there, and the reason that I'm doing that is because I do believe that I think that right now the speed and some of the issues that they had with Boyd Anderson, I really believe that Deerfield can actually come up with an upset.
All right. Okay.
Well, since we're talking upset, Coach, and scores 34-7 Cypress Bay.
Wow.
Woo!
That's disrespectful.
That's a little pride on the line.
That is disrespectful. But that's fine. We'll take that challenge. They're definitely
we'll
not going to
see it next week, Coach.
Yeah. I don't think you can come to Coral Springs, though. That's a little too close to Deerfield.
All right, we're going to move it down the line. We got 5A quarterfinal. Dillard, 5-5 versus Miami Norland, 8-2. We did Norland over the summer. They got a lot of beef. They got a lot of speed. That's a tough team. They're a pretty big team. We've seen Dillard. We've seen what Dillard has to offer. When Dillard wants to play good, when Dillard shows up and wants to play, they can play with anybody. But we haven't seen a consistent team. And Saturday night, we got to cover the Soul Bowl, and we saw Dillard versus Ely. Obviously, Ely isn't a top powerhouse team, but Dillard took care of them single-handedly. But I'm going with Norland here. I can't give it to Dillard. Defense wins championships in my book, and I'm going to have to go with that. What do you think, DC?
Coach, we played Norland. We know firsthand what they can do. They kind of put it to us 42-7. Norland's defensive team, they play defense with anybody. They're large, they're fast, they're strong, they're well coached over there. I take Norland in this one. They're not that strong offensively, but I'll take them 24-10, Norland.
I am looking for an out-and-out blowout. Miami New Orleans on top, and I'm talking about 44-10.
Wow.
I'm talking about blowout. I just see that Norland is just too fast, and they're too big. I mean, their size that's a grown man size. You know, that's University of Miami versus a Pop Warner team type size. And I'm looking at them to do big things, taking up to the sky, running through the middle. Dillard, I don't think going to have an answer for him.
I absolutely I agree with the Norland assessment that Norland is big team. Norland is going to show up to play. I fully expect Norland to win. That's 3 across the board for Norland. Yep. But I think Dillard's going to show up. I think it's going to be a lot closer. And I think maybe Norland underestimates Dillard a little bit after their regular season record. Maybe they don't expect him coming. It's going to be a close one. I'm going to go 13-10. I'm going to go Norland with the field goal. Wow. And I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. But
you got a lot of confidence.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
13-10. Whoa.
We're going to move it down the line. Boyd Anderson, 7-2. Delray Beach Atlantic, 8-2. BA, Hankerson, we follow those kids all the time. We follow Coach Blair all the time. We will be there with BA doing some stuff with them tomorrow. I'm gonna go with BA.
Coach, I'm back on the fence again. Will you accept a tie?
I don't know if they let ties in high school.
No, not in playoffs. But Coach, I'm back on the fence. That Atlantic team is a dangerous football team. But I got to go with BA. I think Blair can get it done over there. I'm going to go BA 21-20.
I am going to go with Boyd Anderson as well. I really like what Coach Blair is doing over there with those young men. I think they learned a lesson against Cypress Bay, and I watched a few tapes on a few films on Atlantic, and they are susceptible to the different type of track speed that Boyd Anderson has. So I'm going to go with them, and I'm going to go with 24-17 Boyd Anderson over Atlantic.
All I got to say is, if BA shows up and plays the way they played against Cypress Bay, we might all be wrong on that prediction.
That's correct.
We need to expect Hankerson to have a big game, Jackson to have a big game, Lopez to have a big game. They can't start slow. We need Young to be all over the field, and we're pushing for BA. No preference, NCRA sports. We follow all high school sports, but we do a lot of stuff with Boyd Anderson, and they're involved in our programs with Keeping Dreams Alive, NCRA sports. We'll be doing actually high school resumes with Boyd Anderson tomorrow, getting these kids ready for colleges. So we're going to move it down the line. 3A semifinal. The #1 team in the state of Florida, according to some people, University School 8-0 against West Palm Beach's Cardinal Newman, 9-1. This is going to be a close game, I believe. I think University School is going to pull it out.
I'm sorry, Coach. That made me laugh. The University School, Cardinal Newman. Coach, I'm looking at 60-0.
Really? Okay.
They're that good, Coach.
Okay.
Coach, this is one of the few teams in the state of Florida that can play with Manatee. And Manatee, I believe, is the best football team in the state of Florida. Wow. And I believe that this team could actually play and beat Bradenton Manatee. So, you know, I just can't go against University School. They have too much, Coach. And they proved it all year by just dominating wherever they go.
I definitely agree. I think University School is probably one of the best teams in the state.
I know one thing I've known for covering football. My brother played at Pope John Paul, Jamal Hunt, and they've also had to go through schools like Cardinal Newman and John Carroll's, and I know that these are some schools that are up there that are pretty decent as well. However, I got to go with Coach Harriet over there at University School. What he's bringing to high school football is almost a collegiate feel, and I like exactly what they're doing. A lot of discipline on both sides, actually on all 3 phases, and they have the support of the school and the community. So I got to go with University School.
Coach, they're probably the most loaded high school team since the Miami Northwestern led by Ja'Cory Harris. They're loaded, Coach. And I have one of my athletes playing over there, David Garner, who's a free safety, number 39. Does a real good job over at University School.
Okay. We're going to move it down the line, 7A. Plantation, 7-3 versus Hialeah American, 6-3. Plantation look good. Hialeah American look good. I just think Plantation has more talent. And I'm going to go with Plantation. I'm going to go with a big game out of Plantation, maybe 41-20.
I'm going to go against you. I'm going to actually go American Hialeah, only because I just think that a lot of the 3 games that Plantation lost, they were games that they should have won. and it was games that they just had way too many mistakes. And even some of the victories that they've had a lot of mistakes. So I'm going to go with the Miami team, American, and I'm going to say that it's going to be a close game, but I'll say that it may be 30 to 27.
What do you think, DC?
Well, Coach Bell down at American High School, early in the season, the Miami Herald put in their paper that their goal at American High was to win their first playoff game. And to win a playoff game, they haven't won a playoff game in over 10, 15 years. So I expect them to reach their goal. Defensively, they can play with anyone. Offensively is where the question is. So I'm looking for a real tight game. 10-9, 7-6 American.
Okay. So you're calling a close one. All right. Well, we got 2 against 1 this time. We're going to take it down to a veteran in these playoffs. St. Thomas Aquinas, 8-2, versus Miami Beach High School, 6-3. What do you got, DC?
No contest. St. Thomas all day, every day. Miami Beach, they play in a weak division that I feel is a weaker division. It's not as strong as the Northwestern, Central, Carroll City, Homestead, Berlin. That's a SEC of high school football. So, they don't play in a division like that, and, they play in the same division with American. American won the division. They finished second. St. Thomas, Sony Michel, cut them a break.
What's you got for a score?
Coach, I think they'll put up 40 to 50 to maybe 7.
Just getting ready for later on in the playoffs. What do you think, Damien?
I got to echo Coach. St. Thomas is an amazing team. They play schools all across the nation, and with what they're doing over there, I just think that they're just way too talented, way too fast, way too big on every level at every position. So I'm going to go with St. Thomas, and I'm looking at maybe 30 to 6.
I'm going to go with St. Thomas as well. I think St. Thomas is just the regular season to St. Thomas reminds me of almost the preseason. They're trying to find players in their positions, figure out what plays are working for them to get into the playoffs, preparing their offense and their defense for a playoff run. So yes, I'm taking St. Thomas to run away with that one and get ready for the next round. We're going to move it down to Dade versus Broward. Miami Jackson versus American Heritage, 9-1. I'm just going to go and say American Heritage. I've watched a lot of American Heritage Plantation ball. They remind me kind of Cypress Bay. They're very disciplined, hard-nosed team. Sony Michel plays there. We saw him on camera, and I think that they're going to take it to him.
Coach, I tend to agree and then disagree because the top Broward schools struggle with mediocre Dade schools for some reason or another. So I'm thinking Jackson is not as strong as they've been in the past. Jackson's been extremely tough. They're struggling this year, but I expect them to put up a fight. They're going to come to fight. I mean, they're coming off a strong game against Northwestern. They lost 21-13 in the Soul Bowl down in Miami. So I'm looking for American Heritage. I'm going to give American Heritage the edge, but I'm looking for Jackson to hang right in there. I'm talking 27-20, Coach.
Okay. What about you, Damien?
We covered the American Heritage Hollandale game, and there was one kid that was not Sony Michel that was, to my opinion, one of the best players on the team. That was number 5, McKenzie, who is just a hybrid. He was all over the field. He played DB, played wide receiver. Actually, he scored the very first touchdown. And I like actually American Heritage. Though I haven't covered Jackson, I'm just going to throw a score out there. I'm going to go with 23-17.
Okay. Move it down to 4A. You guys are going to laugh at this one. North Broward Prep versus Booker T. Washington. 4-5 and 9-1. I think I'm going to compare this one to the Central McCarthy game. Blowout. Coach Ice is bringing them in town. Booker T. Washington, loaded team. North Broward Prep, private school. They don't play a lot of guys. They don't play a lot of tough teams. They don't face a lot of adversity, I would say. So, DC, what do you think?
Coach, Booker T. Washington is on a mission. They are on a mission. They still have that bitter taste from that state championship game they lost last year. They're on a mission. This could be ugly. I mean, I like North Broward Prep as a school, but they're way in above their head this week. We're looking at 70 points by Booker T.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. You're throwing up basketball scores. I would say I would lean again more toward Booker T. Washington as well. Again, this is just a perennial powerhouse of the state of Florida, not just Dade County. I mean, this is something that, you know, Booker T is in every conversation every year. And, I mean, we know about the coaches, and KDA and Booker T have a great relationship as well. So I'm going to go with Booker T. Huge, and I don't think there is a score that would even be respectful to even say. But I'm going to say I'll probably say 45-3. And that's because they're going to call off the dogs and probably put in that second and third string so they don't get hurt.
Rest them for the second round.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And Coach Ice has got them ready down there at Booker T. Washington. We've been following them a while. Coach Ben Hanks, who is actually one of the co-founders of Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation, NCRA Sports Network, he's been involved for a long time. And we know that they're going to have them ready. And we know that they're going to be coming to play. As Coach DC said, they're on a mission. And they got a chip on their shoulder, and I wouldn't want to be in their way if I had to play against them, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, they had a state championship game last year. I was right there on about the fifth row watching them play, and they had the game won. And 2 turnovers, 2 mistakes cost them the ball game. They were the better team, but they lost that night. So they're on a mission.
I want to bring it over to Coach DC here for a second, just to make sure I didn't miss any playoff games, because the wizard over here follows all the high school sports from South Florida all the way up to the state of Washington. So if we missed any games, I know Coach DC's got them on the back of his hand. So why don't you give me a little update in case we missed a few games?
Well, Coach, we missed another 305-954 matchup. That's Miami Northwestern, my alma mater, versus Hollywood Hills, which should be a severe beating.
Where are they playing, Coach?
They will be playing at MacArthur High School.
Okay.
I mean, Hollywood Hills, they're rebuilding. They got into the playoffs, which is a great accomplishment. But they're running up against a defense that is just a juggernaut. So it should be a severe beating, Coach. And Mr. Tice should have a big night.
What do you think, Coach Damien?
Well, one thing I'm finding out is that whenever you go against Northwestern, I mean, I coached at Deerfield High where we had to play against Jacory Harris and the rest of that fleet of University Miami recruits over there, when we had Denard Robinson, Adrian Whitty, and Cassius McDowell, and Josh Philpart, and we took him down to at least the last 90 seconds. But I'm looking at Northwestern. I don't think they believe that people have given them the respect. So this, I mean, you may have to call the paramedics to stop the bleeding on this one. I think they're mad, and they're going to show it on the football field this week.
Statement game.
I'm going to go 3 across the board with them. I'm not going to argue against the experts, and I'm going to go with Miami Northwestern as well. I just think they have too much firepower. And like we said, some teams went into the playoffs expecting to win, and some teams backed into the playoffs. Not saying that Hollywood Hills isn't going to give them all they can give them in the playoffs, but like you said, I just think Northwestern has way too much.
Yeah, Coach, I totally agree with you. But there's some other games going on that's on paper just throughout the 8A, 7A. 7A is the hardest division to figure out right now. 8A, I see Cypress Bay coming out of the south, facing either Tampa Plant or Dr. Phillips, the cream of the crop of the north. Then you go 7A, Manatee up north. Out of the south, we don't know. And you go 6A, you're looking at Miami Central and Naples. And I think Central can stop Naples to get out of the south. And they'll face one of the teams, D-Land or someone up there.
Okay.
And you go 5A, Miami New Orleans the best on this end. So they'll probably get out. You go 4A, you're looking at Booker T. And then you go 3A.
Coach Damien, I'm seeing a little bit of a 305 tip in the scales a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it is. I mean, to be honest with you, I grew up in Broward, and I've had a taste of Palm Beach County, and let's just say down at the bottom, they're actually literally trying to scratch and claw themselves out of getting out of the bottom, and to make names for themselves. And thanks to to programs such as NCRA, KDA Foundation, that we're giving them the platform to do so. So of course, when you get on the stage, you don't want to embarrass yourself, and that's exactly what's going on down there in Miami. 786-305, whatever area code they want to use, yeah. And they're bringing every bit of what they have. So is pretty accurate. And I think what Coach is getting ready to get into, the one Broward team that he'll probably bring out will be University School.
Exactly.
So, hey, that's it.
I started with Cypress Bay, so
you did start with Cypress Bay.
We won't put it too far.
Yeah, I started with Cypress Bay, and in the 7A, you're looking at Northeast if they can go anywhere. Boyd Anderson if they can get by these first tough rounds. They both drew very difficult first round matchups, so they weren't fortunate enough to draw a much weaker team. So it's tough in 7A right now.
All right, well, I mean, we can't cover much more than that. That's a long list of week one playoff games. We're excited to be able to cover them all for you. We're excited to be able to give you guys predictions, and we just hope that it's as pumped up as we expect it to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, we are covering the Archbishop McCarthy versus Miami Central game at Traz-Powell Field this Friday night. Coach DAMIEN Hunt, Coach DC, they will be covering the game live with my father, Glenn Stout, NCRA Sports Network. We will be there live covering it. So if you guys want to check it out off NCRASportsNetwork.com. Also, all the people watching at home tonight, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Everyone that came out to the Coral Springs Brews Room to watch us. I know they're all looking up at the screens to watch the Miami Heat game, but we got a lot of representing out here, and we want to thank everybody for following along. I'm Glenn Stout. This is Coach DAMIEN Hunt. This is Coach DC. We are NCRA Sports Network. This is the Week 1 high school playoff review, and we'll see you guys Friday night.
You're watching the NCRA Sports Network, the #1 sports network in the nation, covering high school sports, NCRA Sports Network.